With around 6 weeks to go until our wedding in Santorini, I thought I'd do a little chatty video going through our plans and some of the highs and lows of our planning process since we got engaged. So we decided to get married in Santorini in Greece because mainly it's such a pretty island. Neither of us have actually been there, but we've both separately been to weddings abroad. One of them, the one I went to, was in Cyprus, and the one that Ed went to was in Sante. So we both really enjoyed those weddings, and we liked the way that they went. And when thinking about what we wanted for our wedding, we decided that we wanted that kind of close, intimate wedding where our guests would have been staying with us for the lead up to the wedding and then have the big day, and that's what we were looking for. We ended up going through a travel agency to plan our wedding. We kind of fell into that because we were originally going to go with a company called Planet Weddings, who are lovely. We met them at a wedding fair and we were going to go and book with them, probably for 2018, because we weren't sure how much money we were going to need for it and we didn't want to rush anything. So in February 2016, we actually ended up winning part of our wedding through a competition that I don't even personally remember entering, but I won this competition and it sounded amazing originally. I mean, it is still good. We did win our ceremony of our wedding through a travel agency called Perfect Weddings Abroad. So we won that part of it, and we decided, after looking into it, to upgrade our package and go for their fully inclusive package so that we had everything kind of sorted out for us for our reception as well. So that obviously meant that we went with them instead of Planet Weddings. We have had issues. I'm not going to go into them on this video because I didn't want it to be kind of a video where I moan and get upset or agitated. It was more of a happy, upbeat video. So I'm just going to brush over that and say, okay, there's been some ups and downs. And obviously if you are considering booking your wedding abroad, then do feel free to message me and I can go through the issues that we've had if you wanted to know what they were. So anyway, moving on. We booked in February 2016, and because we'd won the ceremony part, we had to take the prize within a certain time frame. So the latest we could have taken it was October 2017. So our plans for a 2018 wedding went out the window and we had to move things forward. Because Ed was due to finish his open university degree in June, our original plan to do it in the May-June half term was no longer viable because we weren't sure when his exams would be at that point, and also he really wouldn't want to get married when he was obviously trying to revise or he was stressing out about his exams. So we ended up going for the last week of August, first week of September. And our wedding is on the 2nd of September. So it's actually going to be quite hot out there. We've ended up with our ceremony at 5:30 in the afternoon, which means that the whole day of the wedding, the whole day that I'm used to from being a wedding coordinator in the UK, just kind of isn't there. We spend the day all the way up until the early evening before we even actually start our wedding. I've realised that this video is completely rambly and doesn't seem to have much point. I really should have come up with more of a structure to it. But going back to when we booked the wedding. So we booked the wedding in February 2016 and we couldn't book the flights and accommodation until I think it was the beginning of May, end of April 2016 when the flights came out for the following year. So we booked all of that up. We're staying in a lovely hotel, which is like quite a nice big complex, I think, and most of our guests are staying at the same hotel, so it's going to be really nice. We're going to be able to spend quite a lot of time with our guests in the lead up, and it should be really a fun week. Now we have decided to have our wedding on the Saturday and we fly out on the Tuesday and then fly back the following Tuesday. We're only there for a week, so it's going to be a little bit stressful because it means that we will be kind of doing wedding stuff in some of the days that we are there, and then by the time we've had the wedding there's only a couple of days left before we fly home. So yeah, if you can, I would probably suggest going longer, either for just the 10 days or for 2 weeks, and maybe have your wedding in the middle, or if there's an opportunity to have your wedding only a few days into the holiday, I'd probably suggest that, because then you'd have more time afterwards to relax and chill out and enjoy yourself. fly out on the Tuesday, like I said. We got a wedding meeting with the coordinator at the venue for the ceremony on the Wednesday, the day after we get there. And then after that, we have to go on the Monday, following our ceremony on the Saturday, to have everything like legalised and stuff in the town hall. That's where having a wedding coordinator out there and a travel company in the UK comes in handy, because it kind of goes over my head a little bit, all the legal requirements and everything. So we've been told what we need to do, what we need to get sent to them, and they're sorting everything out that end, which is so much easier because they're doing all the translations and all the translations back again from Greece for the wedding certificate as well, for the marriage certificate. So it's hopefully not as stressful as it would be if you weren't going through a company. Once we booked the flights and accommodation, there wasn't much we did again until this year. They said that you couldn't really do much planning until 3 months beforehand, which stressed me out a lot. But 3 months before the wedding, we were able to get in contact with our wedding coordinator, who is based in Santorini. It's been quite good because, as I say, most of the stuff was included in our package. So it's been a case of just choosing things that are included. So we've got some flowers included, and it's choosing whether we want roses or lilies and what colour we want them to be. And then there's obviously the menu as well. We've had a bit of a choice with the menu, so we've been able to finalise all that. And yeah, everything's kind of coming together this week, so it's a good week for me to do a video because it has been very up in the air. Again, with all the drama, there has been an issue where we had no reception venue at one point, because the reception venue we did have was at the same place as the ceremony, but it wasn't in the same area of that venue, and it was in a cave, and I'm claustrophobic, and it just wasn't happening. It was fine, it got sorted, but it was a very stressful point, and that was a week or so ago, and yeah, I was very, very stressed out, very worked up about everything, and I wasn't really excited about the wedding. But fortunately, where we've now had another week where we've kind of got more details sorted and everything's coming together more, then I've got my excitement back. So everything is a little bit less stressful this week. Having said that, we are in the process of the legal kind of documentation that we need to do. So basically, when you get married abroad, or at least in Greece, in Santorini, I don't know how it differs in different places, but when you get married in Santorini, you have to register for your wedding in your local town, like where you live. I'm pretty sure that's the same anywhere, to be honest. So you have to go and register, and you have to have them provide you with a certificate of no impediment, which basically means you are allowed to get married and there's nothing stopping you from getting married. So that takes around 28 days, sorry, it's not around, it's a set period of time that you have to have your notice put up for, and that's 28 days. So from the date that you go and see that registrar and register your intent to marry, you have 28 days where you can't get that certificate until that 28 days has passed. So this is where it all comes a little bit more stressful when you're getting married in Santorini and you've been told that you can't go and register your intent to marry until 3 months before. I think it's actually 12 weeks before the date of your wedding. So that meant that we couldn't go and do that until the middle of June. So we got the first possible date we could have to make it in that date range, and then we went and saw the registrar, and then we went to pick up the certificate of no impediments on the, I think it was the 11th last week. So the 11th of July, we went to pick that up. Immediately, I then had to post out the certificates of no impediment, plus our birth certificates, and my decree absolute as well, because I'd been married before. We had to post that all off to be legalised, to have the apostle stamp put on our documents. So this is a stamp that says that it's all legal, it's the right document and stuff, for Greece to kind of believe our documents are real. On the back of all those documents is the apostle stamp. So what we need to do when we get them back is then scan across the front and back of each of those documents to our wedding company, Perfect Weddings Abroad, and presumably they will then send them on to Greece as well, to Santorini, because they need to be there in advance of us going there. Sometimes you do have to send the actual documents, so that's why it all needs to be done within a certain time frame, because it has to give time for you to send them out to Greece if you need to. I'm crossing my fingers we don't need to, because that's just one other added stress that I don't want. Parcel stamp can take, in busy periods, which is obviously over summer, around 10 days for you to for it to be done. So, and I don't think that actually includes postage time either. So from the time I sent it off, which was the first possible date, until the time that I think it's probably going to get back, that leaves like a day maybe to get it across to Perfect Weddings Board. So it's a very tight deadline. So if you are getting married abroad, and you are getting married in Santorini specifically, because I don't know, like I said, if this is as strict in other places, maybe they've got different rules, but if you are, then I would say work out exactly when you need everything by and work backwards and make sure you do it straight away. Because if I'd have waited like a day or two even after collecting the certificate of no impediment, I might not have been able to get well, I haven't got them back yet, so I'm crossing my fingers I will, but I might not get them back in time in order to send them off to the travel company to then have them sent to Greece in advance. I've been making a few purchases online in the final lead up to the wedding, so I've also been getting stuff on the high street as well. I got these easels, which are great for kind of making little signs at the wedding. I've got a couple of those. They were £2 each from Tiger, and I've also got some hangers, which I really shouldn't have done, but they were from Primark, but I don't know what the hangers are going to look like, and I wanted some nice hangers to hang the girls' dresses on in the morning, and obviously my dress as well. I've got to be really careful with how much stuff I am taking out there, because I have to rein myself in totally. I could go completely crazy. I've been trying to get a few little bits that are in our colour scheme, which is pastels. Our colour scheme was originally pale blue, like baby blue, but I couldn't find any dresses that I liked that would suit the bridesmaids in that colour, so I ended up getting like a lilac colour. So that's why we've gone with pastels now, so we've got some baby pink colours in there as well. I've also bought my wedding perfume. I ended up going with Misty Oil Absolutely Blooming, which smells amazing. I did a blog post as well on how I came to choose the perfume, because it did take quite a while to make the decision, and I'll link that below. I'm going to make a seating plan, which is something I saw on Pinterest with keys, so I've been buying the last minute little bits for that as well, and we'll take that all out with us, which is why I have to be careful about how much we're actually taking and how much it's going to like take up in our luggage. Thanks for watching what ended up being quite a rambly video. I probably won't do another one of these before we fly out. There's a possibility I might, but otherwise I'll be doing some videos about our wedding and all the planning and everything after we get back. I'm also going to try to video our holiday out in Santorini as well, so I'll be putting up a video of that. If anyone is getting married in Santorini or anywhere else abroad and they might have some questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them in a future video if you want to send them in. Thank you for watching.